Hello, welcome to Lookie Lou's Crafts. I'm Candace, and today's intro sign was created by Miriam of Crafty Butterfly Farris. Sorry, Miriam, it's been a while since I've used my signs, but I'm trying to uh, get back into the swing of everything. So, y'all check out Crafty Butterfly Farris. I'm sure most of you know her. Okay, that's it. Bye. Okay, so I am just doing a little personal update, I suppose, before I get into the health department part of my little talkie video here. Because there sure ain't no crafting going on here, guys. Okay, so, about myself, I went yesterday, and I got some extra pieces that I thought I had plenty of because I bought 2 extras to begin with. But no, I didn't have enough pieces, so I bought 6 more 2x2x8s, and I had them cut there in the store to help make it easier. But we still have to cut off a little piece in the end because I knew they would be too long at 24 inches because each side of my shelf has an inch and a half railing bar. But anyway, with the mansplaining versus womansplaining happening, I think I won. I think I won. With making Candace happy is as good as gold, so you might as well do that. So what I want is like a ladder to go up under each shelf, which is what I wanted to begin with. And so he come in here, and of all the sticks I bought and had cut, he said, well, you only need one on each end of in the middle of each end of the shelf, and one in the middle. And I said no, that I wanted 2 on each side of the shelf and one in the middle. So that makes 5 per shelf. I got 3 shelves. That's 15 pieces, plus the 3 pieces that we forgot to put on the end, or he didn't put on the end, and the other end. So I don't think I need 5 on the top shelf. I'm only going to use the top shelf for light stuff, I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to be hefting anything heavy up there. But still, I would like a crossbar up there. At least one in the middle and maybe one in the middle of each end. So that is the 3 that he wanted. My friend Willie, who's helping me. So we got them laid out, but we ain't got nothing screwed in or nothing. So hopefully we'll get to some of that today. And if I truly won. See, I thought I won the mansplaining earlier, or the womansplaining earlier, but I did not. And it would have been so much easier when we was putting the frame together to put those braces in underneath. But anyway, if we get it done, then I can start loading it up and getting my stuff unpacked. And I got some plastic chest drawers, but some of them I don't like because the drawers come out and they get stuck and it's hard to get them back in, and you got to jiggle and mess with them, and I don't like that. So I'm hoping that I can get most of my good stuff put on the shelf, and the stuff that I use on the shelves, so I can take a couple of these chests to my bedroom so they can aggravate me in there. Anyway, that's the plan, guys. So I finally got it all. So it's just a matter of finishing the final race parts. I gotta take a sip of coffee, excuse me. Alright, this mic gets in the way of the coffee drinking. I took 4 test videos, so maybe you won't hear any echoes and no S's, you know, or any, bodily noise that you shouldn't hear. Hopefully, maybe you will hear the sniff, but I think I got it as good as I can get it, and if I could just keep the mic in this position, and it's bendable and movable, so yeah, good luck to me on that. All right, y'all. So, medical wise, I can tell you that I went to see my primary doctor, and I told her that when I first come to see her, I was complaining about my sore throat and my ear bothered me, and I really needed her to take that seriously because the pains in my face have stopped. You know, I had lockjaw back then, and so she thought the pains in my ear was from the lockjaw, and that my sore throat was maybe post post nasal drip or something, and nasal something anyway, nasal drip. And so, like, that was 8 months ago, right? So I went in, I told her I was still having this problem, and she didn't take me seriously on it. You know, whether she could see anything or not was irrelevant. The fact is that my throat is sore. And I told her it was mostly sore at night and in the mornings. Well, I'm not lubricated at night, and uh, in the mornings, it takes a little drinking and getting your mouth cleaned out and all the stuff to get your throat lubricated so it don't hurt so much. Well, I didn't tell her all that, but that's logical. So she took it seriously, and she said she could test me for strep. And I said, well, I didn't think I had strep, but anyway, they come and took a swab of it, and it was like that Q-tip was made of concrete or something. I'm telling you, it hurt. Uh, so they come back and told me I didn't have strep, and I thought, well, I told you I know that I didn't have strep. And I told her none of my glands ever swell up, and she was all rubbing on my neck and checking everything. Like, she did a good job. I can say that. And she looked in my ears, and she said I did have fluid in my ears. And since I had my last TIA, y'all, I've had a high-pitched whine in both of my ears. Well, if I'm talking or someone else is talking or watching the TV or listening to radio, anything, anyway, that drowns out the high-pitched whine. But at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, there's no noise to drown it out. So, I mean, it gets really frustrating at nighttime. So she did say I had fluid in my ear, so maybe that's the cause of this high-pitched whine because I had all of my head and neck veins all tested out from the neurologist, and he said that, everything was on the clear. And that some people get this whining in their ears and really nobody knew what to do to fix it. So I'm just hoping it's caused by the fluid in my ears. So that week, I got a call from my ear, nose, and throat to make an appointment. And I thought, cool, my doctor's on the ball and she's taking my throat seriously and my ear ache. And so I started call them to make an appointment, and I always want to send me to the furthest part wherever I don't live. They're trying to send me away. And so I was talking to the lady, and I said, look, I live in Statesville, and I need whatever office y'all have that's closest to me that'll take care of the ear, nose, and throat. Because the one in Statesville, which was number 14 on their roster, only done ears. No, he only done one thing. Eyes. That's what he did. Eyes. It wasn't even the ear, nose, and throat. So it was very confusing and nerve-wracking. My anxiety don't like confusing things like that. So the doctor they even referred me to at that place doesn't even work within this group anymore. So uh, I had to get a new doctor. But it was all very confusing because I kept saying my primary doctor's name and checking on that the insurance and everything was cool, was going to pay for it all. And they kept saying that they didn't have that doctor on no referrals from that doctor. And she finally told me that the referral was made by my hematologist. Well, she said his name. I don't want to say their names, you know, on YouTube, but it turns out to be my hematologist, the one that takes blood. So apparently he does lots of other stuff, y'all, because he done sent me to get uh, 3 separate tests. And I had just got back from a place called Huntersville, and having the last test that I thought was going to clear up that, I had 2 enlarged lymph nodes. So that test showed that I had 2 problematic areas, my lymph nodes and my throat. So I never talked to this doctor about my throat or my ear, so that made me anxious about it because I never talked to him about my throat or my ear. Why is he sending me to the ear, nose, and throat? I hadn't even had my appointment for him to tell me the results of my test, so that was nerve-wracking for about a week. I mean, so obviously he found something on one of the tests, and I didn't know what it was. And his office called, and my appointment was to discuss the results of the test was June 3rd, and they bumped it up. So I had that appointment, already. It's already done. I can't even remember at this point when it was done. Uh, they ain't been long, been a few days. But anyway, they bumped it up, and I went to see him, and he said that what I said before, they seemed too, I want to use the word he used, two concerning areas, the lymph nodes in my chest, and which means the lungs, and my throat. I thought, well, my doctor couldn't see anything. Anyway, so this test they sent me to do, it was radioactive. And the guy who told me he was radioactive and he had to leave room to limit his exposure to radioactivity. So I had nothing to do, so I decided that, maybe I should decide on which one of the X-Men I might want to be. Just in case. you know. So anyway, for 4 hours, that's what I had to think about. Because he said I'd be radioactive for 4 hours. The test didn't take 4 hours. But I had to fast for 6 hours and I could smoke for 12 hours also. I was a good girl. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink no coffee. And I didn't eat, during that specific time. And I tried to get it earlier in the morning, so I wouldn't have to wait till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it if I had to wait it. But I was a good girl, and I didn't do any of that stuff that they told me not to do. And so they got clear imaging, and now I have to go to the ear, nose, and throat Friday. I don't know what today is. What is today, Candace? What is today? It's Wednesday. Okay, so in 2 days I go to the ear, nose, and throat because I made that appointment before I even got my test results. And I have to call uh, a, well, they gave me the number and said it was a pulmonary doctor for my lung test. So he said they probably had to put me to sleep for a lung test, but he didn't know about the throat test. But anyway, I got to have biopsies on my throat and 2 lymph nodes in my chest or lung area. So that's where I am in the health and medical department. And I have to say, I don't feel like there's anything wrong except that I have a sore throat. Everything else feels perfectly normal. Even the sore throat is kind of normal. I've had it for so long. So it was probably a year before I went to the doctor. You know, it was coming and going. It wasn't staying more. And by the time I went to the doctor, it was reoccurring pretty steadily. But she couldn't find nothing or see nothing, and I gotta tell you, I have tongue coating that was supposed to be cured by getting rid of all my teeth. Well, let me tell you, it ain't cured. So I know I have bad breath. On top of the tongue coating, I smoke. So really, put on a mask if you're gonna look in my mouth. You know, I try to tell them all that. I can't help it. Uh, there is a pill that'll take care of all that tongue coating, but I can't remember what it is. I had it like 27 years ago, and it worked. It worked real good, and for a good long time. But I only had that one dentist to give it to me. I can't remember the dentist. I don't remember the exact year, so I can't tell them what pill. All I can tell them is it's orange, and it's kind of a round but domed orange pill. That's all I can remember, but it worked. And I would like to have that again. Just get rid of the tongue coating. Now, I will say brushing your tongue and Listerine does help, but doesn't kill. You know, it just keeps it from getting super thick. So, I guess my next health update will be after I have my biopsies. And see what they say. But I done passed 2 tests for was testing for cancer and didn't find nothing. So I'm surely optimistic about uh, passing these 2 tests and them finding nothing. I mean, I'm smoking, so they might find some soot, but I don't feel anything in my chest that's abnormal. So, and hopefully my throat is just post-nasal strip. So if all you prayer warriors out there want to pray for me, uh, please do so, specifically for these 2 biopsies. And, because, yeah, nobody wants a positive on those. So, yeah, all prayers welcomed. And, well, if you have prayer groups, put me in for those prayer groups too. I mean, all the prayers, the better, you know. So, let me see, what else? Is there anything else? No, life has pretty much been waiting on my shelf and going to doctors. I'm currently looking to find me a new uh, mattress and back box springs because mine is old and no good. I really didn't want to bring it with me when I moved, but at the time I run out of money. But I got money. I could buy a cheap one. So I'm looking for that. And that's about it, guys. I ain't started crafting yet because I'm waiting on myself. And ain't nothing else going on. My little bear sheep here doing just fine. And other than what I said, I'm doing fine. So everything's looking good. So with all the prayers, I don't expect any problems at all. That was way too many innies. So obviously I'm a little worried, y'all. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. And I'll feel better. Okay, that's it, y'all. Thank you for coming and listening to me yap along. And I appreciate in advance any prayers you might have for me. And do as the Lord have you do. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye now.